There's a lot of evidence that groups make better decisions than individuals, especially when the groups are selected to be among the smartest and most interesting people. A simple summary, and this is the sort of wisdom of crowds argument, is that you can operate a company by consensus, which is indeed how Google operates, but you have to have two things. You have to have somebody who enforces a deadline. And by the way, if you don't have that, you have a university, because they just argue and argue and argue. And in a corporation, I think the role of a leader is often not to force the outcome unless they're really sure, but to force execution, literally by having a deadline, either by having a real crisis or creating a crisis. And a good managerial, let's create a crisis this week to get everybody through this knothole. And the second thing, of course, is that you have to have dissent. If you don't have dissent among a decision, then you have a king. And the new model of governance is very much counter that. And what I try to do, certainly in meetings, is I try to find the people who've not spoken, who often are the ones who are afraid to speak out but have a dissenting opinion, and get them to say what they really think. And then that provokes the discussion, and the right thing happens. So these open models, in terms of input from outside, also have to have open inside the corporation. It's an art, not a science, to encourage this, because there are so many incentives in the traditional companies, the big offices and the corner offices and the regal, bathrooms and all that kind of stuff, and the big long table and everybody dressed up in suits, that cause people to be afraid to speak out. But the best ideas don't come from the executives typically, and unfortunately the executives don't agree with me on that.